Wanted Exorcist, by Father Gabriele Amorth from Catholic Church. I will never tire of repeating that today's clergy face an objective condition, partially through no fault of their own. The seminary formation of our priests does not address the existence of Satan, his activities, and the means to counter them, nor does it teach about the ways in which we can fall into the evils of malefice. As I have just stated, the reason is that theology classes neglect to mention the arguments of dogmatic theology, spiritual theology, and moral theology on the subject. The majority of priests have never performed an exorcism or attended one. Often they have been influenced by scholars of theology and sacred scripture who no longer follow the sound doctrine of the Church. Because they believe that it is outdated, medieval, in its dealings with demons, their existence, and their actions. And we wonder why people are unable to find instruction, understanding, help, or even simply a sympathetic ear from priests. That is why they turn to sorcery. To illustrate my point, I will quote the latest statistics concerning theologians. They are particularly revealing and terrible. I say terrible because they lead to the following conclusion. 1 out of 3 theologians does not believe in the existence of Satan. Almost 2 out of 3 believe in his existence but not in his practical actions and refuse to take it into account in pastoral activity. This leaves very little room for those who believe and try to act accordingly. The few exceptions are forced to act against the tide, and often they are ridiculed and ostracized by the rest of the clergy. These statistics were gathered in West Germany in 974 and were published in Concilium. Similar statistics were published in Diavoli, Demoni, Possessioni. These data correspond with my own direct knowledge and are evident in many articles written by experts in theology. In the following section I will present the dissenting opinion of one of France's best-known theologians. Although the statistics I mentioned refer to theologians, their influence on the current mentality of the clergy is evident. If the evidence of their practical behavior is any indication, I believe that a poll among priests would yield similar results. Some marveled, or were scandalized, because in my book An Exorcist Tells His Story I quoted the response of some bishops when they had to deal with evil phenomena. These answers are representative of a majority of the episcopate, it is true, but I also cautioned the readers not to generalize because, whenever a diocese has an exorcist, it also has a bishop who is aware of the problem. Here, I will repeat some of the bishop's more frequent statements that were included in my prior book. I do not appoint exorcists as a matter of principle, I believe only in parapsychology. I would like to know who put these idiocies into your mind. Currently, I am exorcising a young man who was rebuked by his ordinary. This bishop refused to see him, refused to appoint an exorcist, and, when the parents demanded help, chastised them with the following accusation: "It is the two of you who are possessed." Although they have not provided much practical help, bishops have always treated me very cordially. Since I have never lost the feistiness of my university days, L once told a bishop, "You are a successor of the apostles by appointment. It is up to you, however, to imitate them. If you refuse to exorcise, you do not act as they acted," was even more forceful with another bishop. I suggested that he post a big sign on the door of his chancery, with the statement, "In this diocese we do not perform exorcisms because we do not believe in the Lord's promises that we can expel demons in His name. Anyone asking to be exorcised should seek out Anglicans, Pentecostals, or Baptists. They believe in the words of the Lord and practice exorcisms." I was rewarded with the following promise: "I will rethink this question." My next chapter outlines the basis for his second thoughts.